Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Homner from Sagebrush Wellness, and I want to spend a little bit of time with you today talking about, does it make sense for you to work with a functional medicine practitioner as far as the money side of things, right? So we're going to be talking about some myths, busting some myths. We're going to be talking about real numbers here, real cases that I have had in my practice. I'm going to share my own experience, and I hope that this will give you a really well-rounded place to begin thinking about what really makes sense for me, especially if you have a chronic or an autoimmune condition. These are things that you need to think about, right? Because these are long-term numbers, care numbers to be thinking about. So I want to talk with you about how working with our team saves you money, quite honestly. And so let's get started. I'm going to start out with, why did I choose to talk about this subject? This is something that every client who comes to work with us has to think about, right? You have to think about it for any doctor's appointment, any labs you order, anything like that, right? This is a part of our journey of working on being as well as we possibly can, right? So one of the things that throws people off sometimes is that I have a cash-only practice. And I want to share some of the reasons why I do that. Number one is that I can run a practice without a lot of overhead, which means that I can charge less than perhaps a big office could, because I don't have a lot of overhead. So that allows me to pass that price break on to you. The second reason is because I am a cash practice, it means that I can make special arrangements with other providers. And one of the ways we can do that for you is through your labs. I've partnered with Avexia Lab, and I have a doctor who is over everything that we do. So if a client with us wants to draw some blood labs, we just send the request into him, and he's able to facilitate that for us. And I want to give you some real numbers here. So for an in-depth thyroid panel, along with a CBC and a CMP, cash out of pocket is likely going to be right around $165. I had a client not very long ago order this same lab work through her provider. Thank goodness her insurance was going to help her pay for it, because it was over $2,000 for the exact same lab request. It just blows my mind. I don't know all the ins and outs of, where all that's going, but we can save you a bunch on labs. Another thing that we get to do with labs that most physicians don't have the time to do is we get to create a functional medicine blood work analysis report for you. And it breaks down all of your blood work in very simple ways and shows you where everything is interconnected. There's a lot of, we're able to take blood work that a physician has said, oh, yeah, everything's good, you're fine, see you next year. And the client, this happens so often, and the client's going, no, doc, I'm not good. I don't feel right. I know something is wrong. So we can take that blood work report and we can really dig in, and we can see where things are starting to get off balance, because we're not looking for red line things that we can use to diagnose. We're looking for systems in the body and balance, and we're looking to see at what is working correctly and what isn't. And then we can dig into the why, right? So we've been able to help our clients really head off some kind of scary scenarios just by catching things early. And I want to really lean into this with you. When you feel like something isn't right in your body and you get blood work and your doctor says, "Oh, honey, you're fine. I'll see you next year." But you know that's not right, I want you to call me. Call our team, call our office, get in touch with us. We would like to sit down with you and go through that blood work and really help you understand what's going on and really dig into what's happening for your body. Because when you feel that things aren't okay, you need to listen to that. That's your intuition, that's your inner wisdom speaking, and it needs to not be silenced. I've worked with multiple clients that they have silenced that for years, and then by the time they get to me, their body is really out of balance. They are suffering, and I don't want that for you. So when you get that blood work back, when you get into the space that you're going, okay, something's not right. I need help figuring this out. Please contact our office. We'd be happy to do that with you. So another thing that clients have to think about when they start with our company is that we are a cash pay. We don't charge insurance for anything. So a lot of times that is it's a jolt. But I want you to think through where we're going with this, right? When you work with a functional medicine practitioner and health coach, we're not just looking for how can we make what we can do to cover up a symptom. We want to use that symptom or the family of symptoms that you're experiencing as messages from your body going, hey, this is not working right. I need help. We look at those symptoms and we figure out why this is happening for you. Because our intention here is to help uncover those root causes for you and then help you know how to get better, sustainably better. So, for example, I worked with a client, quite a while ago, and I really loved that she did this. She had chronic colitis, she had ulcerative colitis, and we were able to completely turn that around for her. So, what she did was she took her medical expenses from the year before she worked with me and then took her expenses for the year that she worked with me. We had saved her with all of her ER visits, all of her meds and everything. We had saved her just over $100,000. It was crazy. It blew my mind. But she was so thankful because by the time we had gotten to the end of our work together, I think she'd spent, I forget what it was. It was like right around $5,000 for a year of working with us and actually reversing her physical issues to where she wasn't having to have medication. She wasn't having to go to the ER all the time. She was well enough that she was able to get a job that she absolutely loved. She started traveling and speaking. She could have never done that when she was so sick. Um, so just giving you kind of a compare and contrast between what it looks like to work with us and really figure out what's going on for you and then really help your body recover, sustainably recover, so that you don't have these expenses that are ongoing. Because generally, when someone has, say, they have colitis, like this gal that I'm telling you about, um, it's going to mean surgeries. It's going to mean some expensive, very expensive medications, maybe resectioning of the actual intestinal tract, with which totally breaks the digestive system. There's no way to have a complete digestive system after that. That means more medications. That means special food. That means she's constantly going to be going, slowly going downhill, right? And by understanding what's happening in her body, what is driving that for her, fixing that, she's not going downhill anymore. She's going uphill. I haven't talked with her for several years now. We did some check-ins for a while just to make sure she was doing good and on track. but she knows where I am. She knows if she needs me, she can call me up and we'll, help get her back on track. But this is the difference between working with conventional medicine that is not necessarily focused on finding the why and what's happening for you, and working with a functional medicine practitioner who that is our focus, because we want to not only help you feel better today, but in 20 years, right? So those are some of the big things that I wanted to really bring up with you today about the differences between working with a functional medicine practitioner as well as to really kind of dig into some of the real numbers around, like especially labs and ordering labs. So a lot of the labs that we like to order for specific things. So for example, someone who has an autoimmune condition, very likely I will suggest getting a food sensitivity test and a GI map, which is a gastrointestinal map. That's a very specific test that I like. It gives me a lot of the information that I need to help someone who has an autoimmune condition, right? We need to see what's going on in the digestive tract. We need to see the bacterial imbalances, all of that stuff. So those are one-time tests. Sometimes we have to do, like if we've adjusted a lot of things in the GI tract, we want to really test and see where we've gotten to. We may need to have a second one of those, a GI map. Sometimes we'll need something like an organic acid test or an in-depth hormone test. Those are cash pay. And we always talk about what we need to do there. You get to say what you want to do, a yes, a no, can I make payments, that type of thing. We work with you as much as we can. But in the end, when you look at the big picture, because we're not doing huge tests like MRIs and EKGs and all that stuff, anything like that would need to be done through your provider. But we're able to do so much work with minimal testing that really helps with the whole overall cash out situation for you. So I hope this has been really helpful for you. I've needed to have this conversation with you for a long time. It has been in my heart. And I welcome questions from you. This is something that I talk with my clients every day. It needs to make sense for you, right? One of the things that I've really been able to support clients around is helping them understand, okay, this is likely what it's going to be costing you. This is how long of a time we need. If we need longer, we'll talk about that then. We'll reevaluate and talk about, do we need to extend our work together? But we do pretty good. We try really hard to do good around, we need 6 months with you, or we're going to need 9 to 12 months with you to really get you from where you are now to well. Because recovery takes time, right? So we do our very best to give you some ballpark. That's never, set in stone, but we do our best to give you an idea. So you can kind of have an idea, what is this potentially going to cost me, right? We have a really amazing payment program for people who are needing their cash flow situation in their own personal lives. We need to make some adjustments in the payments. We can totally do that. But I like to look at, and this is a huge question, so I want you to really hear me. What is it going to cost you to not really figure out what's going on for your body and turn it around? Think about the years that are coming, continuing to do, whatever it is that the client is doing at that time that's not working, because that's when they come to me, is when it's not working, right? But let's think about what it's going to cost you to not really dig in and figure out what's going on with your body. And I want to give you just a quick snapshot of my own journey. So when I was 33, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And if I would have known then what I know now, I would have dug in when I was right out of college, right? So I was so sick. I would have dug in, I would have made changes. My life would look a lot different. And I wouldn't have cared what it cost me because I would have been able to get those rich years that I spent so sick. I would have been able to spend those fully in love with life, fully being able to experience life. But I didn't. So when we got up to the diagnosis, we had been seeing specialists. We had so many tests. Thank God we had good insurance, but we still had over $10,000 of medical bills and lab bills to try to figure out how in the world we were going to pay them, right? Whereas if back then, if I had come to work with me, if there's a very good chance that 10,000 would be the absolute max to work with me, but I would have been better. I would have been, because now, having done the functional medicine path with myself, I am in full remission. My blood work, all of my tests show that, there's no multiple sclerosis scarring left in my body. Nothing is activated at all. So I can reasonably think that if I would have seen myself, if you want to say it that way, when I was in my 20s, I would have had those years to live symptom-free. I would not have traded that for anything. I've never had a client spend $10,000 with me ever. So it's usually right around 5, 6, something around there if we have to work together for quite a while. But when that client walks away, they not only know what's going on with their body has generally been able to heal most of the way, unless, we just need time. They're very clear about what they need to do to continue to heal. And they have been able to take back their power over their own wellness, right? There really is no that's worth more than money. So in thinking about that, when you're making the decision about, do I want to work with a functional medicine health practitioner, or do I want to go with a traditional medicine route because there's insurance, right, and we're covered and all of that? I want you to think about what you really want to accomplish as far as your wellness. And know that your body is amazing and that you can get better. And I can say that with absolute certainty. I've seen some pretty crazy cases come in, and I've had people go, oh, it's a miracle. And I want to say, and I say a lot, and you guys have heard me say this too if you've worked with me, your body is the miracle. You are the miracle. You contain everything that it needs, that your body needs to become better. We just have to figure out how to do that for you and facilitate that. So I hope this has been really helpful to you. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can contact me directly. My email address is melissa@sagebrushwellness.com. I suggest not calling me because I'm in client sessions a lot and I always forget to check my voicemail. So please email me. I'm always in my email looking at stuff, and so I'll be able to get back with you. So if you have questions, I'll give you the address again. It is Melissa, MELISSA, @sagebrushwellness.com. I hope you have an amazing day. If you are not feeling well and you are on the fence, wondering what to do for yourself, I hope you choose life and choose wellness and let yourself explore what it would be like to be truly well. Have an amazing day.